So the first thing you're going to want to do is attach your earthquake shake table to the counter or a table. And when you do that and you clamp it down, please make sure that the plexiglass is not flexed. So you want to make sure that that is nice and flat. Now notice you are then attaching your base of your tower with binder clips to the top of the shake table. Remember, we're going to mimic having our load with 33 grams on each level, and we can do that by adding a binder clip plus 2 washers. And we're going to go all the way, but we are not going to put a load on the roof, just a load on each level. Okay, so at this point I want to show you how to connect your MyDAC for the MyQuake. So if you notice, you have 2 accelerometer inputs, and they're actually labeled accelerometer A and accelerometer B, and that's going to be important when you go ahead and start manipulating your software. You have here a motor input, and then right here you have the actual AC input. The other thing to kind of keep in mind too is you have this on-off switch. Make sure it's toggled to on, and then you can just leave it on. Now, in terms of how things get plugged in, your motor can only get plugged in right here one way. Make sure it's nice and snug, and then your accelerometers can get plugged in to your other 2 components. Now, something to notice about your accelerometers is that there is a directional value. So you can see there's an X and a Y value, and the direction of those is going to be important in terms of how we attach them to our tower. You are then going to take your board and plug it into your MyDAC. And it can only get plugged in one way. And you want to make sure that you push it in there firmly. It can come loose, so please be careful when you are just even moving it around a little bit, it can come loose. And then you do need to put your power, ooh, my accelerometer kind of in the way. So now I'm going to take accelerometer A, and so this is the accelerometer that's attached to the A port on the MyDAC, on the board. And I'm going to put this at the bottom of my tower, and I'm going to make sure that my Y-axis on this case, so let's make sure we're looking at this, my Y-axis on this video is pointing left-right. I'm going to make sure that that left-right on this accelerometer is pointing in the same direction as the direction of motion of my shake table. So if we look at our shake table is going to move in this direction. So I need to make sure that how I position my accelerometer, the Y-axis is going in that direction. So I'm just going to attach it right down here to the base and clip it on with the binder clip. So again, remember, from the perspective I showed you, my shake table is going to move in that direction, and if I go and I look and see how this is positioned, the Y is pointing in the direction of motion. I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to attach my accelerometer B to the top. And I'll show you that now. So here I'm showing you I'm taking accelerometer B, that is the far right one, and I'm bringing it to the very top of my tower. And you can see that, again, my tower is going to be shaking in this direction. So I have my X-axis on my accelerometer lined up with the direction of motion. So this is the setup, the look of what your tower should look like once you have all your instrumentation connected to your tower. Please make sure that as you begin to shake on the shake table, that your wires are not impeding the movement of the shaking. So in the case of your snow loader, you're still going to mount your accelerometer B at the top, but notice I've had to change the orientation and put it on the side, and that's okay because, again, my tower is going to shake in this direction. So as long as my X-axis is in that same direction, it will still measure the acceleration correctly.
So when you first open up the MyQuake software, it will default to having the accelerometers A and B both be on the X-axis. We do want to change this. Remember, we made our accelerometer A that was at the bottom on the Y-axis, so we're going to go ahead and shift that. Now we first just want to test out to make sure that everything is running. So here's our motor control. And we should initially, once we do that, we should see some values down here. Here's our motor control. So we're going to go ahead and press on, and notice nothing's happening. Again, that's because I'm at 0%. So if I were to make this be 5%, press enter, start to get some movement, And let me show you what that looks like on the tower. Again, very slow movement. If I, though, increase my value here, and let's say I make it 25, press enter, we are going to notice that we definitely increase. And you want to make sure you wait a few seconds for it to get up to that actual speed. Notice that my cables for my accelerometers are not impeding the movement of my tower. So let's go ahead and just do a trial run. Again, I'm just going to do an example of 10% power. And I do want to save this data. So I'm going to be savvy when I choose how to name my file. Right now I have a short tower, so I'm going to name it short. I have no load on it. Actually, I had a load on it. And I would only going to do 10% power. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and turn it on. Let it get up to an operational speed. I should see that I have some values here. Again, this is measuring acceleration. We should see something in the range of between negative 0.2 and 0.2 for our acceleration values. So you can kind of hear the motor kind of shift a little bit. I'm up to speed. I'm going to go ahead and record this for 10 seconds. And so this only reads in increments of 2.5 seconds. Right after it hits 10 seconds, we'll go ahead and press stop. And then I can change my power up to 15, let it get up to an operational speed. Again, all I have to do here is just change the name to 15%. I'm at operational speed. I'm going to hit record. It'll recount my timer. And then when it gets to 10 seconds, I will go ahead and stop. So this is how we're going to collect our data. Again, you're going to do increments. You're going to do 8 trials from 5 to 40% and record. Then you'll have 2 variations for the short tower, no load and a load, and then 2 variations for the tall tower.